Do you want to live near Fort Collins, but not in Fort Collins because it's too big or too expensive? I'm going to list some cities that you may want to consider, and I'm going to save the best for last. Hi, I'm Jamie and I'm a realtor in the beautiful state of Colorado. On this channel, we talk about the different cities in Colorado. I tell you what the culture is like, I tell you what the people are like, I tell you what the housing is like, and I tell you what real estate is like. If these things interest you, then hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification to be notified next time I post a video. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. Now, I get calls from people every week asking me, Jamie, what is it like to live in Colorado? Well, it depends on the city, will depend on what it's like. There's a huge range in Colorado, but I'm going to give you my candid opinion. So give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and I'm going to help you navigate through the noise of all the other opinions to help you make a good decision on where you should live in Colorado. So you're thinking of moving to Fort Collins, but you don't like the big city, or maybe it's too expensive. Whatever the case is, here's going to be my list of towns that you may want to consider. Now, first on my list is LaPorte. Now, LaPorte is on the north side of Fort Collins, kind of on the northwest side, so it is closer to the foothills. So if you want to be tucked up into the mountains, this is a great option for you. The population of LaPorte is about 21,000. Now, it is basically merging with Fort Collins, so it is very, very close, especially to the north side of Fort Collins. So you don't have to drive very far if you want to get to the heart or to the downtown area of Fort Collins. The other option is going to be Bellevue. Now, Bellevue is even farther west, and it's in the mountains, right in the foothills there, just below Horsetooth Reservoir, but it's considerably smaller population-wise. You're looking at about 2,000 people that live there. Now, maybe you like that. Maybe that's something that really gets you excited. If so, you may want to check out that area. It is a beautiful area to live. Now, the downside is there's not a lot of amenities there. You're going to have to drive into LaPorte or Fort Collins to get a lot of your necessities. But if that's not a problem for you, this may be a perfect option. Now, maybe you need to find a little bit more inexpensive of housing. You may want to look at Wellington. Wellington has about 9,000 people, so it's a little bit bigger than Bellevue, but not as big as LaPorte, and it's not too far from Fort Collins. It's north of Fort Collins, about 15 miles. So it's a fairly easy drive to get to Fort Collins if that's where you need to get. But maybe you want to go into Cheyenne and go up to Wyoming. It's closer to that as well. So there's some positive and some negatives when it comes to Wellington. But the nice thing about Wellington is the housing is going to be significantly cheaper. Your other option is going to be Alt. Now, Alt is directly east of Fort Collins, and it's a tiny, tiny little town, 2,000 people, and but there's a lot of development actually going on, a lot of new construction, housing going on in Alt. So that may be a good option. A lot of people are moving out there because housing is so much cheaper, and then just commuting into Fort Collins, especially if you work on the east side of Fort Collins, it may actually be quicker for you to commute from Alt to Fort Collins than from the west side of Fort Collins to the east side of Fort Collins. I know a lot of people who can commute faster that way. So that may be a good option for you. Now maybe you like more of those amenities a little bit closer to you. And if that's the case, you may look at the Severance or the Windsor area. Severance has about 5,000 people there, and Windsor's about 27,000 people. And they've got a lot of amenities. They're basically merging into one area. And it's on the east side of Fort Collins, almost directly east, a little bit to the south. So if that's where you're wanting some cheaper housing, but you're also wanting some of the amenities, and you maybe work on the east side of Fort Collins, that may be a great option for you as well. Now maybe you want to be a little bit closer to Denver, and you still want all the amenities, but 170,000 people is just a little bit too big for you. Well, if that's the case, maybe Loveland is a better place for you. Loveland is directly south of Fort Collins. It's also on the west side of I-25. Easy access to I-25, easy access to Denver. In Loveland, you're going to find a population there of about 77,000. So of the places I've listed thus far, it's one of the largest places, but it's very close to Fort Collins, and so it makes for an easy commute for a lot of people. So that may be a great option because you're also going to have everything you need within Loveland as well. Now I promise I would save my favorite one for last, and that is Timnath. Now Timnath is not a big city. It's about 3,500 people, but it's just on the other side of I-25 from Fort Collins, so it's easy access to Fort Collins. So if you like that small town feel, that community, that might be a good option for you. Now I will warn you that from a housing price perspective, Timnath is going to be a little bit more expensive than Fort Collins will be. That's because a lot of people really enjoy it. A lot of people are moving there. Well, not a lot of people, it's only 3,500 people that live there total. But for the size, you actually see a pretty substantial increase in population for 3,500 people. So that may be where you want to live. Now, if you have more questions about any of these cities and you're thinking about moving and you want to know more, then give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever you need to do. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to help you understand what some of these places are like and understand some of your options. I'm also going to put a link down in the description for a relocation guide for Fort Collins. I hope you find that helpful, and I hope it helps you make your decision either to move to Fort Collins or maybe to one of these smaller towns.